Hello everybody, glad you guys all came out today. My name is Alan Dopaz. I'm here with my colleagues Daniel Duncan and Alejandro Pardas, and we're Dynamic Engineering Solutions. We're here to show our ShellEcoMarathon for the 2014 model. Some history about this. ShellEcoMarathon first started in 1939 when two petroleum engineers decided to see whose car was most fuel efficient on 1 liter of gas back then, since it was in the UK, it was liter, not gallon. So then, by that time, it was very low, and they decided to make it a competition for the next years until we are here today. Now, the 2005 pack car, which has the highest MPGs, recorded around 15,000 miles per gallon. Now, the competition itself, since we all know there's many different types of fuel. There's gasoline, diesel, LPG, like what's in forklifts. Propane, there we go, thanks so much. Solar cell. And what we have to do is make a very fuel efficient car with aerodynamics to maintain an average velocity of 15 miles per hour. And the competition is held in Texas. The global warming aspect of this is we need fuel efficient cars. As we know, gas prices are going higher, barrels of oil is very expensive now. So if we could start here, try to make more fuel efficient cars, and a small aspect, we could probably bring that out into the real world with more hybrid cars that are very fuel efficient.
For the event itself, we're participating in the 8th annual, which will be next year on April 4th through April 7th. Again, as we mentioned, it takes place in downtown Houston, Texas. We'll obviously start by participating in the American division of the competition. This competition itself does involve high school and college university students. Now, because we are engineers, we know that changing the power source on the vehicle isn't just the only thing that will affect miles per gallon. Of course, we are going to focus on aerodynamics and lightweight, weight distribution of the vehicle itself. And for power, it will be important, of course, to also have a power source that will give us efficiency without sacrificing too much weight on the vehicle.
These are our team objectives. We're going to try to promote teamwork skills between us and the group to accomplish our goal, which is also something that's going to be necessary once we leave university and enter the actual engineering world. We're going to apply our engineering concepts learned here to the actual design and fabrication process. We're going to get our hands dirty. We're going to see how it's done, how you weld things, how you build things, how you assemble things. Our design goal is to achieve maximum energy efficiency, whether that's through the design of the body, the engine, or the lightweight components we plan on using. We ultimately hope to produce a competitive vehicle. It isn't a competition. We want to make a name for ourselves, for the university. And we ultimately hope to become better engineers through our hands-on experience. Why is there a need for eco-friendly vehicles? In the past 25 years alone, the number of vehicles in India, motorized vehicles, has tripled. In China, the number of motorized vehicles has gone up tenfold. In Brazil, over a 5-year period, they're expected to increase car sales 68%. All of these countries are increasing car production, car sales, and they're surpassing the developed countries such as America, such as Britain, such as Germany, in car sales. This is important because in our lifetime we're projected to reach what many analysts consider a peak oil production, where the amount of oil we're producing levels off and then decreases. So on one hand we have more vehicles on the road all over the world, at the same time we're going to be decreasing the amount of oil. So we have to do more with less energy. So we really need fuel-efficient vehicles. That is the purpose of our project. This is our group responsibilities. All three of us will be doing the preliminary research. Alex will be working on competition. Alan will do engine selection. I'll be working on the chassis design. Body cockpit will be back to Alex. We'll order materials. We'll do testing. Here's our timeline. Over the summer, we really hope to get our hands on the materials and start building, start doing the actual prototype testing. We'll be looking for donations in the fall, and we'll be building our final report for the final class. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Hope you have any questions.
Very good. Is this funded?
Right now, we're doing it out of pocket, but we're looking for sponsors.
And when you say looking, I mean,
We're gonna be writing letters to several companies.
Yeah, we're scouting in person as well.
Yeah.
You know, companies like Target, other,
Very local places.
yeah.
and when you talk about maximum MPG, what's the target?
Well, we see the maximum was something like 15,000. We would like to reach that, but considering the amount of money, the amount of time we have,
That's gonna
We
take a
would like-
while to do.
yeah. I would like, I see good placement between 300, 700 miles per gallon. I think would be,
I recently met up with a person who said they had a tricky transmission, they said, that was able to get very high miles per gallon on just changing some gears and the transmission that they made. I'm willing to speak to them on what they did before I can try to transcribe it into our motor.
More gears?
I haven't seen it yet. I only heard about it.
Runs on higher gears. So
Yeah, gear ratio.
the gear ratio is a higher gear, so a higher speed you use less revolutions.
All right.
Well, to follow up on your question, I wouldn't wait to fall to start looking for funding, do it now. Because some companies are gonna take their time to decide to do it. Another thing is look at other companies outside of South Florida. I mean, GM, Toyota, Chrysler, BMW, they all have money for stuff like this. You know, oil companies, you know, Shell themselves, you know, they may have some money for this. Think big. You know, even outside of automotive, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, you know, because what you're doing actually benefits them too. Because they come up, you know, eventually with a very fuel-efficient vehicle, everybody's gonna want that. So, I mean, don't just think of South Florida, you know, all over the place. Have you talked to the team that competed last?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were gonna modify last year's car. That's not possible anymore because since when they went to the competition, they had very weird design and the driver accidentally crashed it. So we're gonna have to start from.
So there isn't any parts or anything from that?
There's some parts, but mainly, I was looking towards the body, the keys, but
I
that's
mean,
not
your
happening.
project's $7,000 is what I'm looking at here.
Yes.
That's a pretty big order to come up with. So if there's any ways that you can come up with components and parts, and
yeah, we
this is
ideally
gonna
would
be
like
to your advantage to,
Yeah, we wanna try to, whatever we can salvage, we'll try to use, and we'll machine into our own specification.
okay. I was looking at your project timeline, and first thing, it's kind of unusual that you're out scouting for donations after you've already executed the material purchase and the building and testing. So I would have thought you'd reverse those. Second thing is that I don't think you've got enough time for building and test, prototype. Get to it earlier, get to it faster. It's a pretty darn ambitious project, I think, doing all of the pieces to design this machine. And you may want to be thinking about that to figure out how to simplify that a little bit. Because if you try to go after all these pieces, you may not get any of these pieces. My concern, in this time frame.
I also know that I'm the vice president of ASME, and they really want to do a competition. So most of them, they're probably going to help me machine in the machine shop. So I'm not only us three here. So it'll be more of a large group helping us out.
Well, following Chip's suggestion there, that instead of asking for money, that it's a little late now, but a lot of companies will give you material, so they'll give you parts. Like when we were working here way back on the Baja vehicle, they gave us an engine, you know. So Polaris will give you a whole engine for free. So instead of spending money and hoping to get donations, you should go to companies that manufacture and have materials and things and ask for donations in that equipment. They have an easier time in giving that out than money.
Do you believe that you need any external resources that could perhaps transform itself into sweat equity or something like that?
Just a group member, right, from the ASME.
Yeah.
Is really all we've looked into.
I'm sorry?
Just a group members from ASME that'll
They're willing
help
to
us out.
participate.
Okay.
Also, the group from the previous year has offered to give us pointers. And of
So you need to factor that into your schedule and into your resources as well, so that we have a pretty clear picture of who's doing what and who's contributing what.
Are you guys involved in the professional chapter of the ASME in Dayton, Miami?
Well, I'm the vice president.
No,
So.
or the student, but I'm talking about the
Students.
professional. Because that might be a source of help for you as well. I used to be president of the ASME here. So,
So there you go, you got some money right there.
so what we were involved with a professional chapter in Miami. I don't know if it's still around, but it was
still
one of
around.
those and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that might be a good source for you, to get some assistance as well. And make some meetings, get some points. You guys still gotta send points into the,
The CSO points?
you know, you get points for meetings and all that, and then they give
Oh,
you.
yeah.
I think they still do
They
that.
still do that, so that's a good point for you, man, they give you double points for that.
And also, I also competed in Balham when I was here, and I actually, me and one of my fellow students, we started the project, the first formal car here, but we were able to design the whole car and build a chassis by an engine, but we never had a competition, we all graduated. And but I've gone to the competitions to see how they run, how they experience them. One thing that's a new team's biggest mistake is not allowing enough time to test the vehicle out, because you're gonna have problems with the vehicle, you're gonna have to make adjustments. You wanna be able to know your vehicle, you know it's gonna work right, it's gonna handle the track that you're going to, and you don't wanna be going to the competition still working on the car. You wanna have a running vehicle and you have some seat time underneath it. So consider that into your timeline too. You know, the more time on the car you have, the better you'll be when you go to competition. I don't know what kind of questions they're gonna ask you, you know, as far as your design, have you tested it, you know, and bring all information, data, you know, with you, because they're gonna want, the judges are probably gonna wanna see everything you got. Just think about that.
All right,
Any more questions?
okay.